internets or wherever you're listening. I don't know, on your phone, wherever.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to you. It is the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. I'm Mike Winmacher.
I'm Johnny Molson, and boy, this would be good on the radio, but it's too good.
It's just too damn good.
What would they do with it?
Yeah, they would do nothing with it. That's why it's not on it. They don't know what to do with it. That's why we give it to you here. It's State Fair week. It just started here. If you're not listening in the Illinois proper area, the Illinois State Fair began in earnest earlier this week. Do you have any State Fair memories?
Somebody asked me if I was headed to the fair, and I honestly don't think I've been to the fair since I worked at the radio station.
Yeah. It doesn't...
Because we had to be.
Yes. Every day, all day, doing broadcasts.
And the fair is fun for 3 hours. 13 days of the fair, it wears on you a little bit.
It's a little bit too much when we had to be. I'm with you. We get so...
I love the fair, but it's just...
Yeah, we get so much, you have to kind of detox.
Yeah.
I do feel like favorite memory for me was, remember we happened upon the goats in costume contest?
Oh, yeah. Was it goats? It was goats,
It was goats. So it was like this...
It was a goat costume contest. Yeah, that was great. I wonder if they're doing that this year.
I don't know, but that was probably one of my favorite memories. Like, I've done a lot of things in the fair over the years in radio, but I never had the genuine smile I had when seeing goats dressed like Batman or like one was a boat. Like, it was just ridiculous.
And they were taking it serious. I mean, they were. Absolutely. This was a big deal. This was a fashion show for these goats.
Yeah, that and the harness races are always...
Harness races are fun.
Remember the year Buck Naked was one of the horses?
Put all your money on Buck Naked.
Yeah, I just loved hearing that. And Buck Naked in the lead. Mm-hmm. Any food that you always loved or enjoyed? Or
it's funny you say that because I was thinking about, because fair food is, you know what it is. It's fried and it's greasy and it's what it is. But I remember somebody from the International Village, what's that called?
Cultural Village now, or Village of Cultures, or whatever it is.
The UN of food.
The Food UN. We're going to be fooding. We're Food UN.
Somebody brought us stuffed grape leaves from the Greek restaurant. It was so good.
That lady, that was delicious because part of that was there was other individuals that we will not name that worked on the radio that would just kind of call out for food.
Needed to be fed on a regular basis.
Right, exactly.
If there's an emergency.
Right, exactly. And so we would make fun of that individual for that. And it just so happened that the grape lady from the Greek booth had heard that and those were some of the most delicious things I'd ever eaten at the fair.
So if you go to the fair, that's the kind of thing. Is look for things like goat costume shows and stuffed grape leaves.
And buy yourself a hot tub for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're always there, but there's always...
You can always get a good deal on a hot tub.
But I don't know about you, Johnny. When I'm walking around on 100-degree heat off of a blacktop, I think, how can I make myself hotter?
Yeah.
I know. Let me purchase one of these hot tubs.
I do need a yardstick, and it's an election year.
Oh no! It is election year, isn't it?
So yeah.
Oh,
big election coming up, so you can go get a free yardstick. I'm sure.
And fans.
And you can get a Republican or a Democratic yardstick.
It doesn't matter.
They're giving them out. Yeah.
I don't know. One is lying to you, though. I think.
Right.
I don't care whichever side you're on. One of those yardsticks is lying to me. Yeah. It's trying to push centimeters on me, and I don't want any part of that. Just give me inches. I don't want your leftist, communist centimeters anywhere near me. Moving on, I have not been able to play this game in a while. So far, whenever we've brought up Stop Me When It Gets Weird, I have found the story and had you stop it when it gets weird. You actually have a Stop It When It Gets Weird, so I can ring the bell when it gets weird for me.
And it's a job posting out of Green Bay.
Okay.
It showed up on Craigslist.
All right. That's already some weird things going on there. I do not care for Green Bay.
And I'll just read you and you just decide if this is a job for you, Mike.
Okay. All right.
Looking for part-time or full-time farmhand, 1 to 2 people.
Okay.
Duties would include milking, scraping barn clean of manure, barn maintenance, and a few other miscellaneous tasks. Milking in a step-up parlor, and time is 6 a.m. And nights, about 4 to 5 hours a day, $20 an hour.
For milking?
Yeah.
$20 an hour for just milking that teat.
Willing to work with a schedule. We ask that you have proper workwear for working here, which always includes rubber boots, non-insulated bibs, coveralls, such as UtterTech. I guess that's a special kind of...
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's WeatherTech for your car, but there's UtterTech
for the
just in
cow
case
milkers.
In case it gets a little bit squirrely there, and the milk starts going all over everywhere. You got UtterTech.
Light colors as well, such as light blue, pink, purple, orange, etc.
Okay, that's getting a little weird.
Yeah, reimbursement after a select period of time for workwear. We're also looking for a couple to film videos together in the barn. Videos include BDSM style videos in the barn.
Who am I milking now? Now all of a sudden, who am I milking?
And by the way, when you're done over there,
who am I milking, and what am I doing the BDSM with?
Strip off your pink UtterTech.
And show me your
other goods.
Exactly. We got other tech. Other tech than UtterTech.
We are also looking for a couple to film videos together in the barn. Videos include BDSM-style videos in the barn with/around manure.
Whoa! Scat films?
And pay from $500 to $1,000 per video.
All right.
That's about 2 to 3 hours of work.
Okay, so $500 to $1,000 for 2 to 3 hours.
Yes.
Or I can just squeeze the cow teats for $20 an hour.
No.
No, I have to do both?
Yes. Ideal candidate would do morning chores and barn maintenance and then proceed to film afterwards. We fit it in the non-busier days 2 to 3 times a week.
Wait. Are they giving tours of this dairy farm in between?
Well, when there's no one around, when your chores are done,
go have yourself some lunch.
There's some downtime.
And get yourself ready for some BDSM manure porn.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd have to have some manure sex 2 to 3 times a week.
Is this FarmerOnlyFans.com? You don't have to be lonely with FarmersOnlyFans.com.
We supply everything for filming and cleanup afterwards.
Oh, wait. Oh, God. Do I want to know what cleanup is?
Call or text for more information. Must be 18 or older, and please read full ad so all information is clear.
Don't just read to the UtterTech part. Know there's other things going on here.
and the headline for this job ad is Dairy Farmhand / filming.
That's misleading. For me. That's misleading. Dairy farmhand and
filming.
Around manure.
Yes.
God, there's
with and around manure.
With and around. Oh my God. Let me just say something, if I may, very quickly. When did we get to the point where just doing the hibbity-dibbity, doing the regular sex is just like everyone's like, that's not for me. I'm bored with that. Yeah. I need it to in and around manure in a barn.
Mike, I don't think you fully understand. It's tough being a farmer these days, running a farm.
You have to diversify. I get it.
You are at the whims of the commodity trades. They pay you whatever the going rate is, and so you may need to make some extra money with the resources that you have there at the barn. And you've got a barn, you've got manure, you've got people who want to have sex, and why not bring them all together?
You're right. I'm looking at this an entirely wrong way. So FarmersOnlyFans.com is where you can find these particular films and these particular individuals.
Yeah. Let me know if you want the link. I'll send it to you.
Okay, yeah. If I need a little extra scratch after some uttering around. Speaking of weird things, I found this list. I figured we haven't done many lists here on this Too Good for Radio podcast. It used to be a staple of the show, partially because we don't get a lot of interaction, but comment below wherever you're listening to this. I found a list of the best cult movies of all time. And so
interesting category.
Right. And so
everybody has a different definition.
And what they do, though, what I liked about this particular list is they gave us the parameters of different kind of types of cult films. Mm-hmm. And they broke it down into 3 different types of films that become cult films. Okay. All right? They list late discovery, which usually occurs if a movie does poorly at the box office and then finds success in other markets such as home video, TV, or streaming. Okay. That's one definition of cult films. They have the so bad it's good variety of cult films, which is self-explanatory. And then they have the niche appeal. like the niche films.
Yeah.
They say whether or not
I like that you said niche, then niche.
Yeah, just to cover both.
For our French audience and then for our Central Illinois audience.
Right. Niche or niche, whichever, how continental you are. After we talk about manure porn, we got to class it up with niche.
Absolutely.
So they say whether or not a movie does well at the box office, its niche or niche appeal will always show through in fan enthusiasm. Just because a lot of people see a film first time around doesn't mean they're all part of the proverbial cult. So,
gotcha.
Those are three greats, all right? And they go back as far as 1959. Mm-hmm. And so we'll go through the list really quickly and say yay or nay if it's a cult film and how you feel about it. I think the first one knocks it out of the park. It's the original cult film, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Sure.
Right? I mean, that I think we all can agree on. The next one up is...
What category is that?
Boy, I think that would probably be what?
Oh, it doesn't say the category?
No, but okay. I imagine that's so bad it's good, right?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I don't think that was a late discovery one.
Yeah.
The next one is interesting, A Clockwork Orange. I would say that's more a niche, right?
I think it's more of a niche than a niche.
Niche.
I don't want to be picky.
Yeah, you know what? It is.
I think it's a niche.
Yeah, Kubrick would not want to say niche. Kubrick would say niche. But I will say this about that film.
Yeah.
It is one of the rare films that I had to stop for a moment and walk away from before I could finish watching it. And it is deeply disturbing.
It's disturbing, and what I always found interesting is that it's not even nearly as disturbing as the book. If you had to read the book in high school, with as disturbing as the movie is, the book is just horrible. But yeah, that's.
Or is that a late discovery one?
Man, I do think it's a niche film because it's Kubrick and it's artsy and it has that you gotta think.
Yeah. You got to think about why am I watching this?
Think
at
about
times.
the Droogies. Yeah.
Up next is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I think that's once again a niche or a niche, right, of a certain type of comedy.
Possibly, yeah.
But I don't know if is that a
possible
cult?
Late discovery too. I mean,
I think that's true.
I think it continued to get bigger as the years went on.
I think you're right there because it came out in '75, and I remember in high school is where I finally found it, and everyone was talking about it then. That was 15 some years after it was made. So I think that's a combination niche and late discovery or niche, whatever you want to call it. Every time I say it now, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Sure,
that's got to be so bad it's good, right?
Yeah.
Although it could also, it's got some appeal at certain niches.
I mean, it certainly has had a life longer than it deserves, and it's one of those movies. It's so bizarre. The only real way to watch the movie is in a crowd of people who are doing the Rocky Horror stuff. If you just sit at home by yourself and watch it. There's no enjoyment whatsoever.
I tried it.
The music's good, but that's about it.
I tried it. I had not understood it. Like my uncle had talked about, I saw it in the movie theater. You throw toast and everything else, and I had never had that experience. So I was in college. It was a weekend. VH1 of all places was going to show it. It was right around Halloween. I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to see what this is all about.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is freaking awful.
It is. It's terrible.
Like,
it's terrible.
I was just sitting in the dorm room by myself. I'm like, this is awful. This is awful. So yeah, it's the
time it takes to get to a good song
that's the part.
Torture.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Time Warp, great.
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting around again. Oh, here comes Meatloaf. Okay, and then I'm sitting around again, and stuff is. I'm like, what is? But you're right. It's the shared collective. Yeah. The next one on the list, I thoroughly enjoy the movie The Warriors.
Oh, The Warriors, sure.
Like I think that is a late discovery movie. Like, I remember when I finally heard about that, and it took me forever to try to find a DVD copy of that to rent.
And is it so bad that it's good? That's
part of it too. Yeah, that's part of probably where it could be in all three. To be honest with you, but yeah, hey, Warriors, come out and play, yay! And the ridiculous amount of like the type of the roller skate gang, and then the baseball furies, and just all the different. It's fun to chef's kiss.
It is. It's fun to look back at what filmmakers predicted the dystopian future to be like, because a lot of that is happening right now.
Yeah, you're right.
I think Soylent Green is in 2022. I think it's literally this year.
Yeah.
And you watch, it's like, well, that's what they thought this was going to be like. Look, there's plenty of dystopian around us, but it ain't that.
Right. We're not eating people.
Yeah, we're not going on roller skates.
Run through some more of these real quick. This is like the best cult film to say. Evil Dead, 1981.
Sure.
Blade Runner, 1982. The Thing. I think The Thing is what would you call the thing? Is that a late discovery?
Is that the 1980s thing?
Yeah, yeah. Is that a late discovery? Is that a more niche film?
I think both Blade Runner and The Thing, because they're good movies.
Yes, they are. That's what I'm saying.
I think they're in a niche.
Yeah.
I'm going with niche through this whole thing. I don't know why.
Scarface shows up on this list, and I don't understand how that's a cult movie. I don't know if that falls into any of those. It may be late discovery?
Possibly, yeah.
This is Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Another cult one. A movie I've never seen, Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's more of a niche,
Definitely
right?
Niche, yeah.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Uh-huh.
That's another one niche. They Live. I think They Live is so good it's bad, right?
Sure.
I came, or so bad it's good, I should say. I came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Heathers.
Yeah.
Is another cult classic. I love my gay dead son.
Good dark comedy.
UHF from Weird Al. Reservoir Dogs is one that's weird to me, but under their parameter of late discovery makes sense because no one really paid attention to Reservoir Dogs until Pulp Fiction hit it big, and everyone went back and was like, wow, Reservoir Dogs is a good movie. And Dazed and Confused, I don't know where that, I guess it's a late discovery.
I think that's one that, didn't have big box office, but then got bigger.
Yeah.
In rentals.
Hocus Pocus is definitely late discovery. That's one that became huge. Clerks is another one. Shawshank Redemption, which I don't consider that a cult movie, but I guess that's more of a late discovery thing. And it has its followers that ascribe to it as much.
Man,
but
I mean, that was up for Academy Awards and everything. I don't know why that would be.
I don't know how that's a cult movie.
Yeah.
I think they missed the boat on that one. The movie Friday, Showgirls is definitely a cult movie. Yeah, but the thing about Showgirls is more cult when you watch the edited version, right? When they try to airbrush in the bikinis on the VH1, it makes it even that much worse.
That's true, yeah.
Than the original one. A few more here because they went in chronological order. Big Lebowski, I think that's a cult one. That's late discovery and niche as well. Office Space, another late discovery. Donnie Darko is both late discovery and niche. And I've seen that movie numerous times, and I still don't know what the hell it's about. Fight Club's on this list. The Room is so bad it's good. Last couple of Napoleon Dynamite as a cult film. And Scott Pilgrim vs. the World rounds out their list.
This is not a bad list. If you're looking for something to watch, there's a lot on here. Even the bad ones are worth.
So I found it interesting, and I love the fact that they gave us three kind of categories. I like that. So I enjoyed that.
That's better than the cow poo thing.
That's a niche film.
That is
definitely a niche film. That is a very small niche film.
Yeah.
Up next, we have a Dear Prudie.
Okay.
And I can't believe someone I understand with Dear Prudie, it's anonymity, right? They don't call out whoever is writing this.
Naturally.
But I don't know if I would want. I'll just read it. Here. You know what? Here, take this bell if it sounds weird to you, because this one just boggles my mind. Okay. Starts out, Dear Prudie, in the summer of 2011, my wife and I purchased a top-of-the-line Joe Pin vibrator. We use it a few times. We're just beginning to really integrate it into our sex lives.
Hang on, let me go to incognito mode and find out what this is.
It's Jopen, so I'm pronouncing it Jopin. It may be J-Open. I don't know. But that's a kind of vibrator. But anyway, they use it a few times. They're just beginning to really integrate it into our sex lives. When my wife died suddenly of a heart attack.
Oh.
The vibrator had nothing to do with that.
Okay, good.
They had nothing. Now, more than a year later, I've begun to date again. I've met a woman with an open mind, and I'm thinking she might be interested in using said vibrator.
Oh, no.
But I'm not sure how or whether to suggest it. Is it creepy to offer a dead woman's vibrator to someone else? And if so, what else can I do with it? Sell it on Craigslist? It's an expensive piece of equipment,
for God's sakes.
Barely used, and it should be employed and loved once again.
No.
All of my wife's other major possessions found wonderful new homes with dear friends of hers, but then again, a vibrator's got a different, vibe to it.
No.
Sell it, toss it, or share it. Help me out.
No, you wrap it up in newspaper. You put it at the bottom of the garbage so nobody sees it. You put all your other garbage on top of it. You take it out back, and you never think of it again.
Yes. I don't know. Who would bring themselves to write this letter, right?
Even in the best of circumstances, even if the woman said, hey, I don't need this thing anymore, I think I'll sell it. No.
Well, if we know anything... Now, devil's advocate here, Mr. To each his own.
Okay.
We've just seen a job opening about manure BDSM porn inside of a barn. So there's going to be some weirdo that would probably purchase it. But would you feel comfortable? Well, this is your wife that you shared intimate moments with, who died suddenly of a heart attack.
Right.
Are you willing to go and sell it to a Craigslist weirdo? Because you know the weirdo is going to do weird things with it if you sell it.
That's what I said. You wrap it up in newspaper, you stick it at the bottom of the garbage,
or
you put other garbage on top of it.
And then you burn it, right?
Yeah.
And then if you want to, keep it in an urn of her with the ashes.
And by the way, two things, because I'm looking at them right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure how these work. I just don't know. I don't know where that goes.
They're high end, apparently.
Yeah, I'm just not sure where.
Well, I mean, this new wife new girlfriend's open-minded.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you definitely don't do. You don't open the conversation, be like, hey, new lady, I got this toy. Do you want to bring it in to the relationship? Because then they would ask where you got it from. And then you would have to disclose, right? You can't just incorporate that into your bedtime routine and not fully disclose where it had been first.
No, because that comes under the that would be akin to being in the moment and saying, I was with other women and they really enjoyed when I do this. You're killing the mood.
Yes, you are killing the mood. So yeah, you toss it. You throw, to your point, you bury it deep someplace else in the recess of the trash, and it ends up in a landfill somewhere.
The most expensive one in their line is $120.
Oh, good Lord! So it's not a super valuable piece of equipment here.
No.
This dude's making it sound like it's $500.
No.
That's awful. All right, here's what Prudy has to say. I can't even imagine raising the idea of asking your new squeeze to party with a vibrator loved by your late wife. Even if you cleaned it off with antibacterial toy cleaning spray, this suggestion is going to cause unnecessary friction. Like we did there, Prudy. Understand there is a piece of equipment, one permanently attached to you, that has been washed and used again with your new love. But paradoxically, intimate inanimate objects can feel more personal, and sharing certain ones would likely make anyone shudder. If just before her death, your wife had bought a $140 electric toothbrush, offering it to your girlfriend would make her gag.
Of course.
The Vanity by Jopin is also $140, comes in magenta, and its motor is apparently so powerful that when the user gets to where they need to go, she's probably magenta herself. But imagine trying to explain to your girlfriend that your wife only had a short time to enjoy her Jopin before her heart gave out, unrelated to the use of this equipment. There's the rub. You don't actually want to have that conversation. As for selling it on Craigslist, yes, it's possible that you could find the vibrator a new home, but I would not want to meet the kind of person who would ring my bell in order to get a used vibrator.
Right on the mark.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
on the mark there, Prudy.
I understand you consider your Jopin investment grade, but sometimes expenses just can't be recouped.
That's the right answer.
That's level-headed Prudy for you.
Can you imagine just walking up to the bed and saying, "Remember my wife that had the heart attack? She had a really weak heart. Let's see how you respond."
This is how we're dating now because this took care of her. Let's see what happens. Or, to Prudy's point, putting the ad on Craigslist and then having to meet someone that'd be willing to purchase that, knowing what they know about where that thing has been.
Yeah, get a free newspaper, wrap it up, stuff it at the bottom of the...
and just continue to shove it down in the bottom of some type of garbage receptacle. Speaking of garbage receptacles and garbage people...
We take you to Las Vegas and want you to meet Alan Rothstein, who I imagine sounds much like Woody Allen.
I'm Alan Rothstein.
Who has a house to rent, and he is now... under investigation in federal court.
Not Alan Rothstein.
Yes. I'll have my attorney call your attorney and we'll settle this. Being accused of preying on a local mother who's desperate to put a roof over her head.
Did Alan do what I think Alan's going to do?
And what's incredible about this, he did do what you think he's going to do, but he made it legal.
Well, it's Nevada, so he may be able to find a loophole.
As this mother is paging through the rental agreement, she comes to a page called direct consent for sexual intercourse and or oral sex. That's the name of the document in the rental agreement.
Okay.
It goes on to say, please read this legal contract carefully.
Yeah, when it says direct consent for that stuff, you want to make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's and do some other things.
I love Alan's approach here. He says, before signing this, you have to agree that you are not signing this under the influence of any incapacitating intoxicant, aphrodisiac, or psychoactive substance, including but not limited to alcohol, drugs, oysters, truffles, sea cucumbers, strawberries, lobster, or dark chocolate.
What?
Because
those are aphrodisiacs.
You might not be in a clear mind when this happens.
Pardon me, but you cannot be having the truffles or the oysters or the strawberries. Those will not be provided either if you decide to say yes to this.
The next paragraph.
Does he have a brother that runs a farm in Wisconsin?
The next paragraph says, you must affirm that you do not currently have a boyfriend, girlfriend, parent who is larger, meaner, and more physically attractive, owns firearms, and or is more possessive.
Why the more attractive part in there? Would all of a sudden, if the parent showed up to
not
try
attractive, aggressive. Did I say attractive?
You said attractive.
No,
you said more attractive. And okay. I was like, what? He would then be like, well, we're going to change this agreement to your mother instead. She's more my speed.
Yeah, I'm sure that's somewhere in there too, but no, not more physically aggressive.
Okay. That clears things up a little bit. Rothstein doesn't want to get beat up by somebody for this.
According to the pleadings, she was told that if she didn't sign this, she was not going to be able to get the unit. So for all intents and purposes, it is sex for a place to live. That's exactly what it is. And it's almost on demand, according to the prosecutors.
Oh!
Yeah.
Come on,
I mean, that's what the thing was called. It was the direct consent for sexual intercourse.
It can't be on demand. It's only one. You only have to pay rent once a month.
Well, that's true.
You can't just be like, that can't happen. Otherwise, you live rent free for another couple months. And when asked, what do we make of the fact that she initiated this thing, the prosecutor said nothing. People sign things all the time. The popular myth is, well, you signed it, so it's binding. There are a variety of things you can sign that are not binding. Any contract that is against the law or public policy is not binding. I mean, he may have tried to cover his tracks as much as he want, but just because she signs it doesn't mean she has to do it.
Hello, it's 11 o'clock. I am here for my sex.
You have not, before you signed this, you've not eaten any oysters. Let me smell your breath. Yeah, that's awful. What an awful. I hope he goes away for a very long time. He seems like the type of guy, though, that would buy that guy's dead wife's vibrator, though.
The tenant lawsuit alleges several violations, including charging illegal fees, wrongful eviction after she refused sexual encounters.
What illegal fees? I mean, that should be the only payment you have. You can't force that upon someone and then expect them to pay money, too.
The state found that he repeatedly made unwanted sexual advances when he had the tenant come to his home to sign documents. He was fined $94,000 and is now going to federal court for further investigation. So, yes, read those contracts carefully, ladies.
Yes, read the fine print. Who's worse? We had really three terrible people right here, right? We had
impressively terrible.
Exactly. We had the manure BDSM folks under the guise of, hey, do some farm work early on in the day and then, shoot these films later on. We had the guy who was wanting to sell or use his dead wife's vibrator. And then we had Alan Ronstein trying to figure out how to get sex for free or not for free by giving someone a home.
Yeah, and I love just how unprofessionally, it's like he wrote it himself. It wasn't like he went to an attorney and said, hey, could you draw up this contract? It's just like, I just want to make sure that you've not had any strawberries or chocolate and that you are not so physically attracted to me that you're not thinking with a clear head right now.
Yeah, how ugly is Rothstein that you, how pathetic do you have to be to put this into, how much of a dry spell do you have to have hit to put this into? By the way, Rothstein, just go be a farmhand. If you're really that hard up for some sex, go be the farmhand in Wisconsin.
And make some money, yeah.
Yeah, make some money on the side there, you jerk.
If we find his mugshot, we'll
exactly. We'll have to post it later. God, these people were awful today. But at least we made fun of them thoroughly.
Yeah.
That was kind of nice.
And speaking of that, don't forget the State Fair is on. If you really want to.
We need someone to run the Tilt-A-Whirl, but also later on by the Animal Barn, do a little you-know-what later on.
My name is Alan Rothstein. Where do I sign?
Pardon me, you do not have any fried oysters on a stick, do you? I would not someone to have to eat those and then sign this binding contract I have. Please
God
stay away
almighty.
from that.
Indeed.
No Rothstein at the fair, please. Well, thank you again for listening, everyone. Yeah, that's why it's too good for radio.
Too good for radio.
All that stuff.
You'd never
way too
hear this
good.
on the radio.
Yeah, you may hear a promo for this on the radio, but please like, subscribe, share with your friends. New episodes drop every Friday. Johnny, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Bye.